I hesitate to say hate, but I pretty much hate moving. Almost every year during college, and then out into seminary, and a few times out in California, then from California back here to New Hampshire, and from New Hampshire down here, so many moves. And in each of them, there is this upheaval, this diving into the unknown. In changing times like these, in liminal times, so much is possible. Franciscan priest and author Richard Rohr writes about liminal space, this time of threshold. He says, all transformation takes place here. We have to allow ourselves to be drawn out of business as usual, to remain patiently on the threshold where we are betwixt and between the familiar and the completely unknown. There alone is our old world left behind, while we are not yet sure of the new existence, and that is a good place. A place where genuine newness can begin. He says, get there often and stay as long as you can by whatever means possible. It's the realm where God can get to you because your false certitudes are finally out of the way. This is the sacred space where the other world is able to fall apart and a bigger world is revealed. If we don't encounter liminal space in our lives, we start idealizing normalcy. The threshold is God's waiting room. This is so much the time we are in now, this still strange and uncertain time. Still not done with the virus, still not back to normal, longing for familiar patterns. Longing to get back, to return, and somehow still knowing that we are not the same, somehow knowing there is no going back. I remember when we moved across country from California to New Hampshire. When I left New England to go to seminary, I had all of my worldly possessions packed into a Dodge Neon, small little car. Just 10 years later, married with 2 children, to return to the proper coast, to the correct coast, we packed a 40-foot truck, which we decided in order to save money that I would drive across the country and meet Lauren and the boys. I love driving and have driven large trucks before, so it seemed like a good idea. We had professional movers pack the truck, a marvel of geometry and skill, just a pleasure to see how they made it all fit. And I headed out from the west, and all was well until around Salt Lake City. I hadn't entirely pieced this part together until I was writing this, but I had been listening to the soundtrack of the Book of Mormon, the musical, on steady repeat since leaving the Bay Area of California, which I'd just been introduced to, slightly irreverent about the creation of the Mormon Church. And right around Salt Lake City, the engine started to heat up. It was alarming, and I pulled over to a truck stop. When I got out of the truck, I saw there was a shiny spray across one side of the truck. A kind and slightly amused trucker saw me staring at the rental and explained that I had a coolant leak. A mechanic in the truck stop agreed, and I called the rental truck company, assuming quick, decisive support. Asked how they wanted to have it fixed, and their sage wisdom was to not fix it. They said they couldn't deal with it until after the trip was completed. Their professional opinion was that I was to pour coolant into the truck, which held all of my family's worldly possessions, And also, by the way, my life, which I had by that point grown accustomed to. I had thousands of miles still to go. They told me to call again if anything else went wrong. And so in this already complicated transition, moving my family across country, starting new life, starting new ministry, moving my family, all people of color, to the very white New Hampshire, stepping into the role of senior minister, so many transitions, and now I was to carefully watch the heat gauge of this breaking down truck and nurse it along for more than 2,000 more miles. So I filled it again, bought a spare jug of coolant and brought it into the cab with me and got back on the road. What had been an absent-minded road trip became a hyper-focused one. Eventually, I settled into a pattern. In that liminal time, I would fill up and had a few hundred miles to go for each jug of coolant. I got into a rhythm with this slightly broken down vessel, and around Nebraska, I could see that I would get home okay. Slowly, oddly, I came to love the truck even. It did get me there without further incident, many, many jugs of coolant later. And I tell you this because especially now, we are in this kind of liminal time. Our lives coming back together, coming back to normal. We are all needing some extra jugs of coolant here and there. We are not yet in the new normal, but we are certainly not where we were. And this is why I so appreciate, admire, and cherish the Suleimani family, the Bakshi family, and this powerful transition they are in the midst of, building new life, new chapter. I'm so grateful for all of our volunteers and do hope that many more will join this important work. Come by the table outside. When all you have known is stripped away, when you find yourself in a strange time, in a strange place, when you find yourself in the in-between, it matters especially then that you know that you are held and loved. It matters especially then, this powerful embrace holding us all here and now. Amen.